Hello everyone and welcome to His Author's Voice. I am the author, Jack Sanger. Now, one thing that we've learned quite recently is that a minor or seemingly minor alteration in the balance, which we call the tree of life, can change an entire ecology and even climate. I hope you like this story. The Year of the Wolf Dog. Our family was sprawled on a soft bed of dried leaves in a deep recess in the forest. There was a tranquility that comes from having no fear. Everything in harmony. We'd eaten and felt at ease. Our grandfather was sat up in our centre because some elder had just asked him to tell us, for the benefit of our young, the story we all knew as the coming of the age of dog. "Okay," he growled, "but I want your ears." Everyone nodded and made themselves comfortable. As we know, the age of dogs started in a place of tests. Human brain cells and mouse embryos were mixed in a brain in a dish. They connected the brain to a basic computer game called Pong. It was crude, but the first results were good. Soon, ever more powerful brains were being developed, and from in vitro to in vivo. "What's that?" asked a younger one. "From a test dish to a live animal." They worked with the more intelligent animals, trying to boost their intelligence. But there was a worldwide disgust with the work, so it was discontinued. The wild lab animals were taken in by zoos. They did not do well. Nearly all the dogs were slaughtered. They were frightened to let them breed with domestic pets. No one could foretell the consequences. There were angry noises from the throng. But the daughter of a scientist pleaded with her father to keep one puppy, the last one to be experimented on. It was an Alsatian. There was fierce nodding from the group. The daughter and the pup became very close. Being super intelligent, they found they could communicate in unexpected ways. The Alsatian understood human ways. Its human brain cells were strong. She taught him Morse code, and he learned quickly to speak in sentences. But only she could understand his barking. It was very fast and a mixture of high and low notes. The Alsatian was happy. They were as one. But then a terrible thing happened. There were a lot of sorrowful heads drooping in the group among those who knew the story already. An intruder broke into their home one hot day and killed the girl. The Alsatian was out hunting with the girl's father. He was desolate when they found her. Before the father could stop him, he set off after the killer. He held his scent in his nose at the scene of her death. He followed the scent on the breeze from the man's pickup truck, whose windows were open, deep into the forest. The man had stopped to assess the valuables he had stolen. The Alsatian tore his throat out. There were muffled noises of approbation from the circle of listeners. Rather than go back to live without his loved one, the Alsatian began to wander the forest. He encountered a wolf pack. The females liked the look of him and showed it in the usual way. The alpha male did not wait, but threw itself at him. The cunning of the Alsatian easily got the better of the wolf, but he did not kill him. He made him his second in command. This was new to wolves. He told them they must never kill their own kind. They recognized him as a divine. He could read their thoughts. He could guide their paths. He could find food without leading them into danger. They called him Dog, which is also God backwards. He took a female for himself, and the males were allowed one each, but only according to the desires of the females. His children, both male and female, proved to be like him, half dog, half wolf, but with a developing human brain. They became pack leaders in their own right. They spread through the forests of the northern lands. In time, all old pure wolves died out, to be superseded by wolf dogs, with high intelligence, able to communicate in Morse. They could understand and follow closely the ways of humans. Every year, on the anniversary of Dog coming to them, they held a ritual meeting and greeting and paid respect and allegiance to Dog, their supreme leader. The many growing packs made raids on hordes of wild pigs and other sweet flesh in the forests. Angry bands of human hunters with guns came for them. But when they found them, the wolf dogs called to the hunters' dogs and warned them. And the hunters' dogs were afraid and ran away. Then the wolf dogs killed the hunters. No wolf dog died in these battles. Such was their high intelligence and ability to fight like guerrillas as one unit. News of their growing conquest of the northern forests spread across the world. It was decided by the president of this northern country to send an army with helicopters to wipe them out. But soon after they left their base, the army's communication lines were cut. After days of fruitless search, they returned to their base. It was in ruins. The wolf dogs had destroyed all the technology there. There were cheers from the circle. This happened many, many times. Every occasion they were hunted, the wolf dogs increased the penalty they inflicted on their enemies. Then, one day, Dog, leading a raiding party, entered the main city and reduced it to ruins, herding the people into the city square and executing the president in front of them by one bite of his throat. It was on television all over the world. Now the president was a dictator and hated by the people, who were openly glad at his death. One of Dog's lieutenants brought a radio operator before him to the square. Dog barked a Morse warning to the world. The operator translated. "Leave the forests to the wolf dogs, and the wolf dogs will leave you to your towns and cities and farms. Or we will be forced to go to war, and you will suffer the deaths of countless men, women, and children." There were more cheers from the circle around him. Then Dog left. No human entered the northern forests after that, neither to hunt nor to cut the trees. Wolf dogs fared well, keeping their numbers such that the forest could provide them with a constant supply of flesh. All creatures and plants flourished, and the forests spread, and the rivers returned to the purity of times before, with creatures, birds, and fish aplenty. Soon the humans found that the world was recovering from the damage they had done to it. The climate was improving. The ancient order of nature was being restored. Sickness among them was decreasing. Laws were passed everywhere that wolf dogs were sacred and must be protected. And the forests were their estates and theirs alone. From that point, a great change took place. Humans realized that this was a way to save the world. They offered families of wolf dogs free passage to all the lands where forests were sick and dying across the world. Here they repeated what had happened in these northern lands. The world began to recover from its terrible injuries. The weather became less extreme. The peoples flourished, as did all living things. Since that day forward, we have lived in peace with humans. Every generation, packs of wolf dog meet and greet to remember the day the Alsatian came among them. They make an offering of flesh and sing to their first supreme leader, whom they once called Dog. And here I sit before you, a direct descendant of Dog. For it is in this northern forest that everything began. Here we pay respect to two graves. One is for the girl who taught us human tongue, and the second for the Alsatian, the father of all tribes. He stood up and raised his muzzle to the sky. All hail the Alsatian known as Dog, our first supreme leader. The family sat up and howled in Morse. All hail Dog! All hail Dog! And that was the year of the wolf dog. If you want to know how wolves have revolutionized river ecologies and brought them back to their original pristine state, you can find examples merely by Googling. As to the other element in this story, this year experiments have been conducted which have connected human brain cells to mouse embryos. And the resulting mini brain then connected to the game Pong, one of the original computer games. And the results indeed were better than random. There are plenty more stories on this website. I hope you listen to them. I hope you subscribe. And I hope you send the link to your friends. In the meantime, if you prefer to read stories, then you can go to my website, www.jacksanger.com, where you'll find novels, plays, short stories and poetry. So that's all for now. I look forward to seeing you next time. Until then, bye-bye. Bye-bye.